mitigated. There's a video on TikTok. I think it went viral over. I'm not even sure when I picked up this video. I saw it and I just grabbed it. It shows, and we'll put it up so you guys can take a look at it. It shows a teacher. He's in. It has to be China. I'm guessing one of the Asian countries, but I'm thinking it's China. Uh, he's using an interactive blackboard. There's no chalk. There's no eraser or any of that stuff. And he's playing around with shapes. So it took me back to when I was learning trigonometry. Right, so you're learning the volume of a sphere, isosceles triangles, right angle triangles, Pythagoras theorem, all those good things. I remember how we would learn with a square or a triangle on a textbook. This thing was
so abstract. So
yeah, right, exactly. Having to learn all those things.
We have to work so hard to form it in our imagination.
Yes, but if you see this guy playing around with this thing on the chalkboard, it was just beautiful. He's touching the chalkboard, the shape starts to flip around, and look. So if you think about where education needs to be, it's technology is forcing us to move forward. We have to move forward. I'm happy to announce that I bought my first smart TV over the weekend. Yeah, so the attendant asked me, he's like, "Oh, sir, do you have?" Because I was gonna buy a regular TV. I don't really watch TV. Everything I do is online.
TV go smart.
Exactly. The man said, "Sir, do you have children?" I said, "No." He said, "Are you planning on having children?" He's like, "Yes." He said, "Look, I suggest you get a smart TV because these things, of course, they come pre-installed with apps already on them. Yes. You're basically buying a computer. So if you want your kids to learn fast, this is what they have to be engaged in. Right from when they pick up a remote control. In fact, I even synced it to my phone. Whether you have an Android or iOS, you can sync it to your phone. Your phone becomes the remote control. But the definition of teacher now expands and includes parents, right? Because whatever it is they learn in school, mommy, daddy, what is the radius of a circle, all these things like that. So we, of course, I say we as if I'm a parent, but parents as well have to now be involved and use technology to push things forward. So there's another announcement here. The African Development Bank. This is in line with education and tech. This is starting to sound like Tech Monday. But the African Development Bank, Government of Nigeria, and Microsoft have just launched a digital Nigeria e-learning platform. It's supposed to provide marketable digital skills to the youth. Apparently, about 16,000 user registrations were noted within 24 hours of the launch of the platform. It's also available access via a website and a mobile app. So what they're doing between the AFDB, Nigeria, and Microsoft, they want to be able to. This is part of the AFDB's Coding for Employment initiative, and so they want to try and link all this together. So look, I mean, and this is something, I think this happened on Friday. Yeah, I think it was a Thursday or Friday that they launched this. So if you combine that with the World Teachers Day, you combine that with where tech is, you combine that with parents being nervous about not wanting their kids to go back to school, and this all comes together and says, hey, listen, the remote learning angle is still something that needs to be pursued. Now, of course, I trust the Yinka to send a message and say not everybody has lights and not everyone has access to these things. So you still have to manage what you have. I mean, where we have public schools that don't have interactive digital chalkboards that you can touch and then the chips now start moving by themselves, you still, of course, want to use your classic chalk and blackboard to try and teach, because at the end of the day, whatever tools you have, we need well-funded schools that will be able to carry out what it is they're supposed to be doing. So again, shout out to all the teachers out there. You are our heroes, and I strongly believe that teachers should be the ones driving Mercedes and Range Rovers and Lamborghinis because of what they mean for the future, for our future generations.
Because you heard of the SARS ban, you feel like they should drive Mercedes.
SARS.
Interesting. That's another conversation.
I'm still pressed. I trust you guys really get into that one. That is just. I think was in Warri. That thing happened in Warri, right?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. But the presidency has responded. We'll see whether they said they've banned checkpoints and illegal searches or so and so. Sanwo-Olu also sent out a tweet responding to it as well.
So it's not just SARS, it's SARS IRS. That's it. Yeah. and then some other forces like that that are
Yeah.
associated.
Well, we'll see if it works, so Val, because these things are they're pretty
Yeah.
scary. But yeah, and yeah, also if you think how much was our budget for education, 2020? It had that also has to increase as
I
well.
hear they doubled it in the proposed 2021 budget
Yeah, I have to check
for
that figure again.
education and health.
They need to. They need to for sure. What else is going on? The CAC, the Corporate Affairs Commission, they've announced the commitments of the commission to register companies within 48 hours, approve names same day, and ensure 5-day completion for the post incorporation services that are not available electronically.
Starting when?
Well, they said they're starting this almost immediately.
You know why I asked this question, Rufus?
Yeah, because you've been in
during the lockdown, I know you know what I was going to say, but during the lockdown, people were trying. A lot of people tried to register companies, and the reason they gave, in fact, I called one of them, and they said, "Oh, because the lockdown, there's been a lockdown, so there's no staff in the office to attend to issues." Meanwhile, it's on an electronic platform.
Right. Well, look,
So
I mean,
do we push files on the computer? So somebody has to physically push the file.
I just look.
Humor me though.
I know it's not. There's a gap there. You're right. You are very very correct. There's a gap that needs to be filled. So that's what this is by the Alhaji Garba Abubakar, the Registrar General of the CAC. I think you had him on
Yes.
Lagos Talks. Yeah. So he was on Lagos Talks a few weeks back. So there was his statement. It said the Corporate Affairs Commission is committed to amongst other things, register companies in 48 hours, approve names same day, and ensure 5-day completion for other post incorporation services. He's essentially repeating what I just said. He's saying that they face challenges from COVID-19, as you just mentioned, and that they're trying to move forward to get things going a lot faster. Because if you think of the bridge from that platform I just mentioned with the AFDB, federal government, and Microsoft, once these people get the certificates they need, of course, they want to start businesses. So they now mosey on down to the CAC website, try to get those businesses up and running. And the faster, one can get your name registered, one can get your approvals required, then you can get going. But folks, this is it's the digital space, so that's where the jobs are going. So let's let's try to push that narrative and try to push every person we know that's either going into university right now, thinking about the future. I'm not into forcing children to do stuff, but if you look at where things are right now, it's digital though.
Yes, and the parents should, in terms of career counseling, I think parents should encourage their kids to look into providing solutions. They think of solutions that are tech inclusive, innovative solutions that could come from, that solutions are already provided, but find a way to make it faster.
Right.
Infusing tech
Exactly.
in that process.
And you can, a child will do what a child likes.
Yes.
But how do they get exposed to what they like? It's you, parents.
Those things
Exactly. So there you go. You style and say, hey, look, why don't you go and look at the stars and the moon? Why don't you check,
staring at the sky.
Exactly. Why don't you get a telescope and get them some kits and stuff like that. So
find them tinkering
nudge them,
boxes.
nudge them in that direction because the job landscape is changing. The Microsofts, the Amazons of this world, they're going to be Facebook is setting up an office here second half of 2021, I believe.
Sure.
They're going to be looking at more software developers. So that's where things are going. Did you see the Kogi State Governor cutting grass? Was it Kogi or Kwara? I think it was Kwara, sorry. There's a viral picture of him where he was talking about, he was trying to push farming. And so he took one cutlass and he was cutting grass. So that's image, I don't want to make fun of him or nothing like that. Farming is farming, but as much of a push as the government through the governors and so on want to take pose for pictures and cut grass, you want to also pose for pictures with a laptop or a tablet and try to push that same narrative towards, look, this is the digital area that we need to go into. So again, I stress, shout out to all the teachers out there on World Teachers Day. You are our heroes, and parents too got to extend that as well to make sure that we're going in that direction. Because look, the jobs picture is not very good right now with respect to the youth. I think it's over 50% unemployment and underemployment. So we definitely have to, as far as equipping the youth and getting them empowered to learn better, that's the direction that we definitely need to go in.
All right.
You know.
Keep those messages coming into WhatsApp 0809 0981. You're listening to Business Express 981 with Rotus. We have 2 minutes left.
Well, I don't want to go too much. Who is this? Abel on Twitter said, I also want to buy a smart TV. Please tell which model you got. Abel, there's a whole, he's on Twitter. Abel, there's so many.
I mean, you can make your choice.
Yeah, and I can't mention any brands on there, of course. I can't promote them, but I mean,
we can at least share the reasons why those things that you should look out for.
Right.
For in a TV that works.
Yes.
Or that should last.
So one thing that the attendant told me, in fact, I'll share this. He said, because I was going for one model, which I was familiar with, one brand. I was like, I want to get that one. And that was a 50-inch. So it was big. And the one I ended up getting was 40-inch. It was smaller. But he told me, look, the 50-inch you want to get, you are not able to update apps on that model. It's a little outdated. This one that he told me to go get allows you to update your app. So if anything is outdated, you want to be able to get a smart TV that allows you to update, and when that's needed. So you're not using outdated apps and so on. So that's one feature that you definitely want to look for, and it allows you to add more apps. So you want to go with either iOS enabled or Android that gives you the most access to all the apps out there, because there's so many educative, informative apps that kids can use to learn today, and there are so many. So if you can just use the TV, download the apps, they're sitting there instead of, I mean, cartoons are nice, so instead of watching cartoons, they can be thinking around with apps that teach them how to recognize shapes, calculate math, teach English. It's beautiful. So Abel, there's tons. It's not just the popular brands we know. I'll tell you this: China is moving in there. I saw it. There are some Chinese brands I'd never heard of.
And they're doing so well.
Doing well. Fear China. Oh. Hey, wow.
That is best. Guys, thank you for being part of the show. Unfortunately, we couldn't take your messages because they didn't drop in time. But stay with us.
It's raining.
We'll attempt to each and every one of them. Stay with us as well. 7:30 will be time for Freshly Pressed 981. Join us. The headlines will be published on social media. Good morning.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, network issues.
Yeah.
All right. So keep me up to date.
Yes, please. I will.